Okay, we got the board set right here. We got the monitor right here. This is the beginning of part 3, by the way. I've done some work I'll kind of sit down and go over. Let's do this. Let me bring the camera right here. And let's give it a zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I have replaced all of the 3900s. There were 6. 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I replaced all of those. I replaced the 4016. I replaced the 4006. The 4006, as you know, in this 8080 type stuff. This isn't an 8080, but it's the same format, kind of. That's your sound generation area, you know. And then your 4016 right here is generally used for like a warbling, like whoa, 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 whoa sound type thing, you know. So, or a like in Invaders, it's when you hit the Space Invader, you shoot him, it goes. It's part of that. So that makes weird sounds like that, kind of opening and closing, switching, analog switching. I've done all that. Um, yeah, that's what I did to this morning. I'm gonna go ahead and set this thing back over where it was, and I will turn it on. You'll be able to see the monitor, the board. Okay, there we go. So let's fire this thing up. And I'll show you what it's doing. Okay, now this thing might freak out and start resetting and quit running. And I'll tell you why when I get the camera back in my hand. I'll show you exactly what's going on. I have to replace something on this set that I don't have. I just ordered it. I just, from Arcade Parts and Repair, I had to order some parts to fix this properly. Every now and again, this thing will just crap out and start resetting, and it probably will do that, and I'll show you exactly what's going on. But I can coin this up and show you what's happening. Coin it up, right? Coined up. And I'll hit one player start, which is 10, I believe. Yeah. Now, as soon as I fire a missile, all right, I don't know exactly what's going on there. It's definitely some weirdness, ain't it? Let's go again. As soon, I mean, there's no sound. Will we even get the... Yeah, there's nothing going on. You know what I need to do is I need to do some YouTube videos on this and find out exactly what it's supposed to do. Or I'll play it in MAME. That should be good. And hear what it's supposed to sound like or whatever. There's no sounds now. Not even the sonar. It's flashing something in the middle of the screen. I can't tell what it's saying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to play this game on MAME or something so that I can figure out what is supposed to be happening, because I really have no idea what's going on. I don't know what it's supposed to sound like, you know. But I would imagine it's supposed to be different than that. I would think, right? I don't know what sound is what or anything about this. Yeah. This is 2-player. The 1-player, 2-player works, and the 2-player missile is 2. I want to know why that buzzing is always there. Is that... Yeah, these aren't labeled as to what's what, so I don't know what is what. I'm going to have to study the schematic, find out what are these controlling. Is this like the sound volume for one of the amps and this one's the volume for the other amp? I don't really, I need to understand this better. And I want to play it or watch a video of it and see what it's supposed to do. Because this is not right. Obviously. It's 2-player again. And as soon as I fire the thing, it just we got a buzz in the back, and then we have, it sounds like the missile, the torpedo sound is like stuck on. Maybe. What was that? It said something in the middle. Well, the good news is it's not been resetting or whatever, but it will. It is totally flaky. Trying to, you know what? I'm gonna cut away. I'm gonna go over the schematic and look at the logic for what's turning on these sounds and all of that, so that I know what to start probing. Okay, just kind of looking at this. Notice how it sounds like the what you call it, the torpedo sound or whatever is on at all times. This is that torpedo, left torpedo, and the signal coming into the torpedo goes all the way to the top. See there? Right here, and then all the way to the top, over all the way, and down. It's we got a resistor pack here pulling everything high, and it's F2, this 174. So it should be high until it's triggered low. That's pin 2 of F2, which is this guy. And if we look at pin 2 is always low. See that? Well, I'm going to turn the light off. I don't know if you can actually see that. Pin 2 is low all the time. That's supposed to be pulled high through probably this guy. I would say that this chip is no good. That should not be low at all times. And that would explain our sound of, you know, that, because that's what that's supposed to sound like. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and another thing that's really strange is this game on signal, which is right here. It comes out of this 175 at H2. Pin 3. It's like that signal only comes on. It should come on as soon as you start a game. And it only comes on as soon as I press a fire button, which is, it doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to cut this chip off the board and then try it again and see if it doesn't do that static. Because I believe that's the missile, or the torpedo fire sound that's on all the time. So I'm just going to cut this chip right out of the board. Okay, I just went ahead and removed this guy right here. So we should now lose, that has outputs that go up to the missiles, or the, I keep saying missiles, the torpedo firing, the left ship hit. What about this torpedo? That torpedo also, both the torpedoes, probably both the torpedoes and both the hits. And then we got something coming down here. The mine hit. So those sounds should all be gone. So let's go ahead and turn this thing back on. Let's see if our pin, what was it, 2? Yeah, see, it's no longer pulled high. Or it's no longer held low. That chip was just no good. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see if it, how it operates, how it works. Okay, we're coined up. And let's press a All right, who knows? I'm gonna turn it off. Next thing is why is game on not turning on right away, and why is it turning on only after I press a button? Basically, after I hit the fire button is the only time that game on is coming on. It should come on as soon as I start a game. So that is very strange too. So I think you know what, I think I can get the little itty bitty scope out, because this is a 175, which is just a clock, and it's the reset pin will be held high. It'll only reset if reset is active. So all I need is clock input and 2 outputs. I've got a 4-channel scope, so I could look at this thing. That's what I'll do next. Let's grab my little scope, put it on this guy right here. I think it's this one. That game on signal. H2. Yeah, that's this guy right here, 175. So let's look at that chip with the little itty bitty scope. Okay, I'm looking at that. This is the data line here, and you have the clock up here. How is this not high? Am I on this correctly? Pin 3 is, no, I think I'm not on it right. Pin 3 is, yeah, this will go low once this time's out. Yeah, I'm on it wrong. Jeez, criminy. This is supposed to go right there, and this is supposed to go right here. So now it's low. At the clock it's low, so it's staying low. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I need to go in and play this game or see, does the sound come on when you first push a fire button? Because that's what I'm seeing here. Is that just the way this is designed? I need to know that before I go thinking that it's wrong. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go play this game and check it out. And, yeah. So, I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to show you what I need to replace. Watch this. See, it's working fine. Watch this. It reset. I'll mess with it a little bit more. Oh, come on. There you go. There you go. There you go. Well, we got a pretty decent connection right now. But these connectors right here are garbage. So I bought new connectors for right here. You know, these bottom entry things. They are all pushed in and looking terrible. So, yeah. Anyway, this thing seems to be working decent, but those are bad. Trust me. These things are no good. So I'm replacing those. I just bought them, so they'll get here. I ordered them from Arcade Parts and Repair. And, yeah, let's make this thing solid by replacing that junk. Honestly, you know how I'll show you what they look like at some point. Not right now, but You know, before this thing is done, I'll show you what they look like. But I need to go do some research, play this game, and see how it behaves. Because, I mean, yeah, definitely we found one bad part, which was that 174 I cut out of the board. That was no good. But I'm going to go in and do a little research on how this game plays. As it looks like it doesn't, the sound doesn't start because that thing's working correctly. So maybe that game on signal goes low as soon as you fire a torpedo or something. It's quiet until then. So that's what I'm going to go find out right now. And I'll report back. Okay, well, I have removed this board because I replaced the 174 and pin 2 is still held low. And it comes over to this, and this pulls it high, and then it comes down into here somewhere. I'm going to start doing some beeping out and see if I have a cap that is shorted, leaking, or whatever, pulling this these signals to ground. And this thing has sprung a new leak. Now I've got lines on the screen, like it looks like RAM failure. So one of them screen RAMs, I think, has gone bad. So that's another thing we'll have to deal with. One thing at a time. I'm going to first get this, because there's no change. It's still the same goofy, you know, that same staticky sound constant. So, and I did verify through MAME that this thing does start sound when you push the button to fire your torpedo. So it's silent until you fire a torpedo, then the sound comes on. So that is how this works. So that is good. We got that figured out, but we're going to have to figure out why this line is being held low. So I'm going to just kind of follow it down through here and where it comes over here. I got the schematic so I can follow that signal. And that's what I'm going to do and find out why this thing is being pulled low. It's not shorted to ground, but it is being pulled low somehow. So I'm going to figure that out. Yeah, so there's the lines in the screen. Yay. But I was looking at this all wrong. And this schematic is a little bit... Normally, when I see that, I automatically think, okay, it is a signal that is idle high and then goes low. Nope, that is not how this works. This is idle low and it goes high, and that just pulls it high when, as if it's a open collector part or something. This isn't even needed. You know, that resistor pack is unnecessary because this is not an open collector part. You do not need to have these pulled high. This rests low and goes high to activate. It makes sense now that you look at it and actually think about it. Pin 2 comes over and it connects to the anode of the diode, both of these diodes. So in a sense what it's doing is it's forward biasing those two diodes when that signal goes high. And it's allowing current to flow through the diode. Yeah, so I was looking at it all wrong, and you can see that I've got pin 2 pulled, and I've got it run through a clip over to my logic probe, and it's resting low, see? Now if I go ahead and hit 2-player start, because this is 2-player, the second player thing. If I go right here, now we're playing, I'm going to, pin 2 is, see, as I hit it, that lights. Missile, or torpedoes. See that? Yeah. So that actually is working fine. Oh, that is not needed. So I think we might have a bad amp. because this thing is just out of control. I don't even have, I have the circuitry removed from this right now. I think this amp is no good. So I think I'm going to have to replace this amp. Is what the whole problem is. The sonar works good. Yeah, so let me go ahead. The sub wasn't working either. There's a sound that goes when the sub comes out, and there's this CMOS chip right here. I went ahead and replaced, and I'm going to replace it. It's a 4051. It's like a CMOS mux, analog mux or something weird. I don't know. But I'd never heard when the, but that might come through this amp. I don't know. So let's go ahead and replace this amp because I'm pretty sure it's no good. Yeah, and it looks like someone's been in here before me. As you can see, I was kind of wondering why in the world, what is going on with this circuit before I realized how it actually is working. I removed these diodes and stuff. That's all 10-cent parts, no big deal. But it looks like someone else was in here at one point. And yeah, hopefully that's not too bad. So I don't know. I might end up having to just cut this thing off because this board looks a little jacked up, and I don't want to jack it up any more than it is. So I think I'm just going to cut this heatsink off, and we will put a new aluminum heatsink on it. I've actually got one of these, maybe. We'll see. But I think I am going to just cut this one off because I don't like how this board's looking. And someone's been in here before, and yeah, I don't want to mess it up anymore. Okay, yeah, someone had been in here before, and it looks like somebody had replaced this amp before. You know, someone was dealing with the same issues. And they had replaced this amp. Now, I don't know if they damaged it on the way to doing it or what. But yeah, it's I need to do a little trace repair. And I totally cut the I cut this thing right off. Actually, I just rocked the sides until they broke and then cut this thing right off. So yeah, this was pretty hacked. Pretty bad. So I'll have to do a little bit of repair on this. Not too bad. So yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll get it. All right, now I have my traces repaired. Those two up front. A couple wires down there. And then I've connected the ground here so that it's connected on the top side here. And we'll go ahead and put a socket in there and put these parts in. Let's see what we get. Okay, we are repopulated here. My socket in. 0.33 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, if you can believe it. I had a 0.33, and that one's a 3.3 and a 10. I got all my caps in. Yeah, so let's go ahead. I got it all cleaned up. And let's go ahead and hook it back up. Weirdness. I flipped it over to start probing with the little scope, the little itty bitty scope. And I probed on data bit 3 and I noticed that it was floating. And I traced it back to pin 9 of this guy and it was fine there. There's like a bad connection between that chip and that line. I'm just going to solidify that. After I probed around on it a little bit, it came back. And now the game's working now. The sounds are working fine. I just turned it up some more. So, let's coin. And let's go 2-player. You'll hear the sub, when the sub comes out, it goes. Rah, rah. Yeah, so the sounds are working now. I just got to make sure that I solidify data bit, that data bit 3. But all the sounds are there now. The mine hit, the ship hit, the fire, it fades and goes away. Yeah, I don't know. Because I was getting the same thing with this in there. Yeah, got the new amp in there. So now I just got to get this RAM situated. And you know what? We'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to call it a day. I just know that, yeah, this data bit 3 was floating from here, from this point right here. When I probed right here, that's what I saw. When I followed that line to right here, it was floating. And I noticed when I started messing around with this and doing this, that it was fine. It came back. It's very strange. So I'm just going to resolder this, maybe, solder blob this onto here, onto that trace a little bit. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, but tomorrow we're going to have to look at these. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this as part 3, and then part 4 we'll tackle the RAM. Do a little RAM probing on camera, and also see if this thing has a test menu. That would be awesome. These 32 RAMs suck. I'm gonna have to probe them all and see if any of them look strange. So yeah, it's gonna be fun for sure. Yeah, one of those RAMs went bad. Okay, well, I'll upload this one. This is part 3. We got the sound fixed. I went through and I replaced all 6 of the 3900s. I rebuilt the noise section with the 4006. And that you heard that when the submarine comes out. That is this 4016 chip, along with this 4051 chip. So those two are in that circuit. This thing was completely unneeded because that's not an open collector part, this 174. It doesn't need to be pulled high. When it goes high, it's internally pulled up. So this is really unnecessary. There, I'm going to reinforce that trace. Soundboard will be good to go. We replaced the amp and some of these parts over here, caps. Fixed some broken traces from previous work. And yes, that's it. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll look at RAM. All right, guys.